Tonight, we're going to be answering that and everything else in between that's got everything to do with Goo from the Q video that we just dropped this week. In order to be able to do that, I'm bringing in the co-host with the most, Money Mizite. Can I get an applause, please, from the back? Hollywood, we're going to get a delayed applause here.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
Hey, it's all good, man. Listen, real quick, let me just say this, man. We got Shamrock Bully Club in his eye. Good evening, Bully. There we go. We got the claps coming in. Adam Fields in the house. Good evening, Bully fam. Goo from the Q, says Adam Fields. And Sarata. Now, just for those of you that are tuning in, I just want to let you know, my name is Raul from QBN Kennels. I'm not a veterinarian. I'm a dog breeder, which puts me in the same spot that you guys are in when you're looking for cheap, effective solutions that keep you from having to go and spend all your money at a vet. All right. And we do this weekly every Sunday at 8 p.m. Inserata saying good evening, everybody. Thank you, Inserata. Inserata in the house. We got Prater King Bullies. Good evening, QBN family. What's going on? Oh man, we got back and forth. Adam and Inserata, nothing but love. Nadies, howdy folks. I love that new Goo recipe. We're about to go over it because it's not the same recipe that we did before. Hello, my dog thanks you, brother, says praise my way through 579. Welcome on board. We got most hated native, right? Most hated native, Goo from the Q. You know it, man. So listen. I'm going to let you guys know from the very beginning, right? Because I need to answer these questions that were being asked on the very video. And then I also want to answer questions that are live because many of you are going to have questions, whether you got a big dog and a smaller dog, and or if it's going to stain the carpet and that kind of thing. And I'm going to dive into all that. But before we do, oh, look at that. We got Praise saying they've been using the starved yeast diet. Let me know how it's going, Praise. Let people know. Before we do, I want you to take a look at the screen. Now, we got 3 paws for you over here. Got paw number 1, paw number 2, and paw number 3. Now, I'm not going to give you my answer just yet, but I do want you to tell me which one of these 3 paws you would put Goo from the Q on. Money Mike, you watching? Which one of these 3 would you be putting it on? And what would be the reason behind it? Hold it. Don't shoot it just yet. We're going to come back to the answer, but I want people to see it. Now, whether you're watching this on Facebook or on YouTube, all you got to do on the comments is type 1, hit enter, or 2 or 3, and hit enter. The system is going to automatically pick up your answer and is going to give you results down there below Money Mizite. All right. Adam Fields saying all of the above. All right. We got Inserata saying 3 for sure, maybe 2 also. Okay. We're going to get into that. But there you go. Somebody's already dropping it 2. That's Adam Fields. So dude like Adam did, drop the number so that the poll can, there you go. There you go. There you go. We're starting to get it. All right. So first of all, Money Mike, let me ask you a question. All right. Because I know you've been on here with us now on the lives for several months, more than several months. You've been following QBN for over 5 years. My question to you that I've been asked this, but I figured I might as well bring it up here on the live. Do you know where Goo from the Q originated? What the idea was? Why was the concoction ever done? Do you happen to know the answer to that?
I wanted to say it had to do with blueberry.
With blueberry. Okay.
I thought it was something with blueberry. It's been a while ago when you first started using it.
Yeah, it's been a while, so I'm surprised you would say blueberry because I made a video on the Q before blueberry even appeared on the yard. By the way,
originally, yeah.
Yeah, for those of you asking, oh goodness, I thought I had a picture of blueberry up in here, and I do. For those of you asking, this is my boy Blueberry. That's who he's referring to, this little muscled up little chunk of love over here. And no, Goo from the Q is from before that. Let me.
Oh, I had to think about that for a minute.
Hey, look, by the way, Praise My Way says he's been using it for 2 weeks. This is the starved yeast diet and chlorhexidine bath, and he is much, much better. I'm glad to hear that, guys. That's what this platform is all about. Gurmitshawala saying a 3 for the picture we had popped up. I would choose 2. Okay, fair enough. But listen, don't just put like that. Don't put it like that. I need you to literally just put the number and hit enter so that your vote can count. Okay. We got Adam Fields saying Congo, that I used it on Congo. Transporting King saying greetings. What's going on, man? Number love. Feather American Good Eagle. That dog is beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So let me give you guys a little bit of insight. So Goo from the Q originated from my idea of, was there something I could give my dogs that could help me over the summer? Let me give you a brief background. So I started breeding 10 years ago. First 2 years were very brutal for me because I didn't have help from other people within the breeding community, because breeders want to sell dogs. They're not here trying to fix your problem. For them to fix your problem is to sell you another dog. That's their mentality. So I wasn't getting any help. So I started researching and I came across the golden paste. For those of you that don't know what golden paste is, by the way, 3 is leading the way. Let me just show the screen while I'm saying this story. 3, most people are saying that Goo from the Q is good for number 3. So golden paste is nothing more than coconut oil along with turmeric, and some people will add a pinch of pepper to it, some won't. But I took it a step further because through my experience here and my experimentation with my dogs, in one of the most humid areas, hot and humid areas during the summertime in the whole country, which is, look up Houston, Texas. I'm just north of Houston, but the weather's pretty much the same. Long story short, I decided, you know what? I know for a fact that ginger is one of the best anti-inflammatories in dogs. I found this out because I had one dog came up with all sorts of skin issues and red paws and everything. And I had read somewhere that ginger is one of the main anti-inflammatories for dogs. So I did 2 things. I went ahead and shredded some ginger and fed it in the dog's food. I also shredded more ginger and I started putting it all over the dog's paws on purpose. Just wanted to see what would happen. I would put it on the right paw and not on the left paw, for example. I would do that and see what would happen the next day. Would it be that they stopped licking one paw because it has ginger on it, not the other? I wanted to see what would happen. Well, what would happen is the next morning, you can see there was a substantial gain as far as inflammation coming down. Now, of course, I couldn't say, okay, well, it's the topical ginger versus what I'm giving internally. I didn't know which of the 2 it was or if it was both of them together. But what I did know, and I did verify, is that the research I did applied to my dogs in the scenario I had here in humidity, that ginger was a powerful anti-inflammatory. So now I'm making the golden paste, and I said, let me add ginger to the golden paste. Let's see going forward what type of reactions my dog's body tells me is going on.
Right.
Started all over again. Did the same little experiment for a week. Just do it on one paw, not the other. Hey, not only was I getting the substantial improvement from the ginger, I'm now getting the substantial improvement from the coconut oil, which we know is antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antifungal. So too is turmeric, right? But I had come across information from years ago. Okay. For those of you that have been following me for a bit, you know that I'm a firm advocate for garlic. And the reason I'm a firm advocate for garlic is because in my home country in Venezuela, when I left, I was 5 years old, and there was a dog that my grandmother had. And here I was 20 years old, and this dog was still alive. Don't ask me how old the dog was. Could have been 16 or 17 by that time. I don't know. Okay, but what I do know is that dog would eat just about everything, every leftover that the family would have. So when there was family dinner, whenever you finish eating, you put everything together and the dog would eat it, including onions. Okay, including onions. Now, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I do want to say this. I remember vividly when I was a child, my grandmother feeding this dog 2 things in the mornings: garlic and papaya seeds. Right? Not a large amount, small amount. We're about to get into amounts here a little further on the live, but I just want to leave you with that. This dog was not on kibble, was eating leftovers, must have lived somewhere around 16 or 17 years of age, was eating garlic every day and papaya seeds. And the reason she would give the dog garlic and papaya seeds, she would say 2 things. One was help the dog's immune system, which was the garlic, and 2 was to deworm them, which was the papaya seeds. And guess what, Mike? Throughout the years, what have I done here in my yard? We feed garlic and we feed papaya seeds. Okay? Really, really important, right? For the same 2 reasons. For the same 2 reasons. Now, all right, so the poll, let me just go to the poll here real quick. Which paw needs to goop? All right. So 57% of y'all are saying number 3 does. 29% are saying number 2, and 14% are saying paw number 1. Okay, good deal. Well, sorry about that. Good deal. So my point with garlic, let me just say this before I tell you which of the ones I'll be putting that stuff on. The thing about garlic that I learned, now keep in mind, I'm not a vet, but I am a nurse. And I also got a brain between these 2 ears, and I do my own research and I test stuff on my own dogs, which is completely different than whenever you have somebody that is only book smart and is only dictating from what the book says. We all know that not everything follows the book verbatim, right? So let me just tell you this about garlic, and it's part of the goo, but we've done something different to it. But I want to mention this. First of all, we crush or we slice garlic. We do that because there's something called allicin that's not good for dogs that we need to react with air so it can become allicin, which becomes a powerful anti-inflammatory. We keep coming back to anti-inflammatories because that's what this whole goo is about. Okay? We let it sit for 15 minutes so that reaction happens. And then the way we feed it is I'll feed an entire clove to a 100-pound dog, and we will chop it in increments of 10% per 10 pounds. So a 10-pound dog will get a tenth of a clove. A 50-pound dog will get half a clove. A 100-pound dog will get an entire clove. That's what I wanted to hit on garlic. Now, I have been told and I have been reminded over and over again by many of you that garlic is toxic for dogs because when you go on Google, right, and because a lot of you, unfortunately, you think that Google's first response equals research. It doesn't. Okay, Google's first response, in my personal opinion, is a nutshell response. Okay, so can garlic be toxic for dogs? Absolutely, it can. Can garlic be beneficial for dogs? Absolutely, it can. You see, the poison is in the dosage. How much are you giving garlic to a dog versus, oh, you can't give any to it? That's not true. There are so many things that if you give in excess to a dog could hurt a dog versus when you give the right amounts, it's actually great for the dog, right? So don't get the two confused. Also, don't keep in mind that in Google, right, behind Google, behind that AI, there are many industrial vested interests, such as Big Pharma, for example, that doesn't want you to understand that this little garlic clove that costs you nothing at the store and costs you nothing to plant it and grow it yourself can actually fix a whole host of problems in your dogs. So I just want to throw that out there because many of you are confused thinking, okay, Google's first response, because we no longer think. We ask Google, and whatever Google says, we firmly stand behind it so we can wag our finger at you. What you don't realize is you're wagging a finger at somebody that has been breeding dogs for 10 years, that has been inside and outside of research, and has actively been giving garlic to my dogs for 10 years. So you can't sit here and tell me that garlic is toxic for dogs. The answer is not just toxic.
Bad.
Yeah,
it can't be bad for your dogs. You've been doing it too long.
Yeah, the answer is not just can it be toxic. The answer is it can be beneficial. Educate yourself and find the right dosage and watch what happens. You know how many old-time breeders, they don't use none of this stuff, that these chemicals that that big pharma wants vets to push on you, on your dog, so they don't get fleas and ticks. All you got to do is feed garlic. After 21 days, there's not a flea, tick, or even mosquitoes that want to come around. But you wouldn't know it because you stopped when Google immediately told you that it's toxic for dogs, period. Right? So let me go here real quick. And Kyle, get ready for poll number 2. Oh, Hollywood is off. Let me give him a minute here to come back in here. Real quick, let me show you guys what goo from the queue is. For those of you that are watching us for the first time and you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm explaining goo, meaning it's a concoction I came up with that we put together in order to put on our dog's paws and hot spots and things like that to help them get better. It's completely natural, and if they lick it off, nothing's going to happen. But let me show you how it is that we put it together. This is the base recipe. Okay, you start out with 1 cup of cold pressed coconut oil. You follow that up with 1 tablespoon of powdered turmeric. And we're going to talk about that too here in a second. Then, because we want the turmeric to be absorbed as much as possible, we're going to be adding 1/8 of a teaspoon. In fact, it could be even less than that, of cracked black pepper. But, okay, the pepper is not the one that's already grounded down, because it loses, once you grind pepper, okay, it goes into an active stage for a limited amount of time, and then after that, it loses it. So you want the black pepper, the cracked black pepper that has not been ground yet, and it's got the grinder on there that you could literally put on there directly, so you could absorb as much of it as you can, okay? Next up, you have about one size of a garlic clove of ginger. So you want to match the ginger to the garlic clove, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay.
So the original goo recipe had another ingredient, correct? For anybody that's been around long enough to know that.
Yes.
Explain that. Yes.
Included in the recipe was the very garlic that I'm talking about. Okay. But I have found that it's probably safest to take the garlic out of the recipe. Even though I consider it to be part of the recipe, I want you to take the garlic out because there was just too much confusion as to when you put it together, how much to give and how would you know exactly that you're giving the right dose of garlic. So the only way to guarantee that completely is to literally take the garlic and do it completely on the side. Mm-hmm. Do your goo. Now the garlic, that's another thing. You got 15 minutes for that air reaction to happen, and then to be able to add it to your dog's food along with the goo. You don't want to just throw it in the goo and let it sit there for 3 days and then give it to the dog. Okay. So a lot of people were asking me, what did you do with the chopped garlic? Well, I put it into the dog's food, and I put the goo on top of that. I mixed it all together, and I let the dog eat it. Whether you're feeding raw, cooked, or kibble, it doesn't matter. That's how it is given. Real quick, we got a lot of people talking over here, so let me see what the chit chat is. We got Hollywood back. All right, a vet would have kittens if you told him that story. Okay. Transporting King, vets have become nothing more than used car salesmen. Wow. I hear you, man. I hear you. I recently had to take a dog of mine to the vet. If you guys want, I can share that story later on. I have to agree with you on that. What's up, guys? Live your life, dogs. What's up, man? We got Hoopty Hoo. Once you get the yeast taken care of with the diet you recommend, will the dog gain weight? Once you get the yeast taken care of with the diet, I guess, what do you recommend? Well, Hoopty Hoo, rewrite the question. It maybe just maybe me or maybe missing a comma somewhere. Rewrite it. I'll be more than happy to read it. I'm fixing to make this for my cat. All right. Make sure to do your research for the cat. I just want to throw that out there. Jaira Graham saying, what's good? What's up, Jaira? Number love, man. Thanks for being here. Adam Fields, crack the black pepper in a maze. There you go. Adam Fields. Scott Leber saying, hello, love your show. I'm new, and my dog lives, but loves garlic. What's going on? What's going on, Hollywood?
He was saying that once he does the rest, well, that question he said that you had recommended, talking about the goo. It says once you get that yeast taken care of with the diet that you recommended, will his dog gain weight? Once he gets rid of that yeast, is what he's saying.
Okay, so here's the deal. The starved yeast diet is a diet that's going to lower carbohydrates. So it's going to lower excess calories. Okay, you have two choices. Let me give you two choices. First choice is, once you see the yeast gone, you could just go back to your transition back to your regular diet. That's not the choice I would highly recommend. The choice I probably higher recommend would be to stay on that diet until, especially if you live in a hot, humid area like the one I live in, until we change into autumn. Okay, once we go into fall season and the humidity level comes down, and preferably, especially if you live in an area where the average temperature is 75 degrees or below, then that's a good moment to transition back to
gradually increase the caloric intake back to what it is when it's not so hot.
Yes. Unfortunately, what happens is, first of all, a lot of sugars are being added to dog food in a bag in general. Why? Because it's the cheapest way to put it in there and give your dog calories, and so they can make money. But your dog's body's letting you know this stuff ain't working, right? I don't need to be eating beet pulp, sugar cane pulp. Like, what is that? On top of that, you're giving me meal? Like, first of all, what kind of meat is it? Is it roadkill? And meal means it's like the shavings off whatever's left over of whatever, right? You got to understand your dog is a carnivore. If you want to improve your dog's health, you got to feed it better protein. Better protein is going to improve your dog's immunity, its function, yada, 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 right? You just don't, just because you were taught that dogs eat out of a bag doesn't mean that's really what's best for them. You got to realize they evolved from wolves. Wolves in the wilds don't eat out of a bag. Real quick, we got Scott Leber from South Florida. All right, man. Originally, I'm from 305. Just throwing it out there. Transporting King, what do you think of chlorhexidine shampoo? I think it's good. You know, if you don't have time to buy the chlorhexidine like I do it and mix it and make your own shampoo. See, in my case, you know, I got more dogs than the average bear. So for me, it's just better to buy the $20, $23 chlorhexidine bottle, you know, mix it all together here, give it to my dogs, and boom, we're good. Whereas if you got only one or two dogs, then you might want to already buy it.
Something I want to say about chlorhexidine, I've noticed in my own experience, there's a lot of things that people call a hot spot that are not necessarily a hot spot. They're not necessarily for mites. You might have somebody that a dog that has chewed one spot like crazy because a flea, you know, right by the tail, and the flea is able to hide there, and the dog chewed the hair completely off. It's not the same thing as the mites. And so if you use chlorhexidine on that right there, you may have an issue with the skin getting too dry right there from it not having any fur, and the oils from the skin get removed from the chlorhexidine. It's already have an issue there. So I'd be careful with using chlorhexidine on hot spots. It will kill anything on the skin, but it can also dry the skin out to such an extent that if you don't rehydrate it or lubricate it, then you may have trouble out of that area for quite some time.
I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, and let me come back to it. But real quick, I got a shout out to Ms. Laura Tarnowski. I hope I'm saying it right, 3135. She said, new to this channel, did I hear help with dog itch? Yeah, absolutely you did. I have a Mastiff Shepherd. Excellent. Hoopty's talking about he lives in Florida too. And he's saying that he notices that it gets worse in the summertime. Hoopty, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but just real quick, realize what happens in summer. Now, I know in Florida is mostly a peninsula state, right? Unless you live up in Tallahassee or Pensacola or whatever. That's more South Georgia and Alabama than anything else. But anyways, Florida is a peninsula state. So there's always high humidity, but there's higher heat during the summer along with the humidity, which that's what makes microorganisms, including fungi, grow at a faster rate. You got to realize the dog's metabolism and immune system is under attack in the summertime a lot more than it ever will be in the wintertime for obvious reasons. That's why when you walk into a hospital, the AC is cranked up. That's what kind of keeps the microorganisms at bay. It doesn't stop them, but it slows their reproduction. Okay, so you got to think of it from that standpoint. Scott Lever, I'm a retired U.S. Army paratrooper. My service dog is an Anatolian Shepherd and Belgian Malinois mix. She be 2 in September. I love turkey mix for the yeast, and she loves it. By the way, I'm an Army vet, disabled veteran, by the way. Thank you for your service, Scott Lever. Hoopty Hoo is saying thanks. Thank you for answering my question. Oh, absolutely. That's what this platform is for. There you go, Adam. Adam Fields, man. He's like part of the panel, but Adam, if you were here, I'll hug you, man. Anyways, Transporting Kings, I appreciate you guys answering each and every question. All right, listen, Transporting, I'm gonna tell you what, man. For those of you that are watching this for the first time, those of you that are new, you want to stick around. Make sure to subscribe. Not just to this channel, but also go down to descriptions below. Go to my homepage, become a member for as little as $5 a month. You're already seeing this is a two-way conversation, right? So every time I drop a video, if you got a question, write it down. Show up Sunday at 8 p.c.st, and we're going to make it happen for you. If you can't make it because you're busy at work, whatever, catch us on the rerun. Nothing below. Give us a share, give us a like, give us a comment. Thank you.
I used to get so excited, brother. When I was first doing my research and getting so far into learning about these dogs, and I would just get my questions together and wait for the Sunday live, man, and get in there, and I couldn't wait to pick your brain about different things, and it was just such a blessing to me in learning this stuff.
Listen, they now got me, they got you, and every now and then you already see Kyle's going to jump in and give his 2 cents worth too. So hey, it's all good, right? Real quick, let me get poll number 2 going. I want to get back to what you said about chlorhexidine, Mike. I think you hit something on the head there, but I also want to elaborate a little further. Real quick. I want you guys to take a look. Whoa, my bad. Here you go. Poll number 2. There it goes. All you got to do is put the number. And the question is, which fur problem, excuse me, can the goo help? Is it number 1? Is it number 2? Or is it number 3? Now, Money Mike was just talking about chlorhexidine in that number 2 picture you're seeing there. But right now, I just need you, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook, to put either a 1 or 2 or a 3 and just hit enter so it could automatically populate the poll. You're going to have to excuse me. Let me. So again, guys, which fur problem do you feel that the goo can help? Okay, remember the ingredients, right? We got coconut oil, we got turmeric, we got cracked pepper, raw ginger, a teaspoon of cinnamon. We also got garlic up in there. You put all those together, you get goo. All you got to do is put a 1, 2, or a 3 and let me know which one of these do you think the goo can help. All right? We'll bring it back here if you missed it, but we're definitely going to be going over these polls later on. And I'm going to give you guys my insight as to which one I chose and why it is I chose it. And so will Mike. All right? All right. So
I love the illustrations, man.
I love it.
I
And we
really
got plenty of interaction tonight, man. Plenty of love. We got Thomas Statham. There you go. Just joined the chat. Can I use chlorhexidine first week on my Australian cattle dog? Has had problem with skin yeast. I also have E3 antibacterial, antifungal shampoo. Excellent question. Now, let me say this. Because Money Mike was just talking about chlorhexidine and talking about when the skin is dried and you're hitting them with that. Listen, guys, I made a chlorhexidine video. Actually, I've made several chlorhexidine videos.
Yeah, several.
I have stated on every single one of them, chlorhexidine is your last source. It's the last thing that you're going to use, because if chlorhexidine doesn't kill it, or if you didn't do it right and you make whatever's there resistant to it, which I don't know if it can, but if you did, you're going to have yourself a host of other problems. See, typically when I come out with something like that, people don't want to hear version 1, version 2, version 3. They want to go straight to the nuclear bomb. And Mike brought up an issue. Chlorhexidine will dry out the skin, right? If you have certain particular problems in there. Also, you should never use chlorhexidine if you have open skin. And that means that if the dog's scratched, if it's looking like number 1 over here on the poll, right? You don't go and pour chlorhexidine on that. It's caustic. It's going to eat away at that and make the hole bigger. It's not going to fix your problem, okay? Right. So let me just say this. Thomas, I don't know everything that's going on with your dog, but the levels I give people is level number 1, half water, half apple cider vinegar or white vinegar bath. Literally, just half and half. Rinse the dog, pour this stuff on your dog. You do this all over the place. Don't dry the dog. Let the dog air dry, right? Give it about a day or two, and then see if anything has improved.
And listen, guys, don't think because it's step 1 that you need to dive in deeper than that, because I promise you, at least half the time that will do it by itself. Yeah, because what the vinegar does is it resets the pH on the skin. You see all these little critters, right? Whether it's fungi, particularly fungi, whether it's bacteria, whatnot, they change the pH when there's a change in the pH on the skin, when the skin becomes acidic. Okay, Mike, let me ask you something. Did you know that sugar is acid? Or better yet, sugar is acidic? Yes.
Okay, so if you're buying a bag of kibble and this company owes itself, right, to their investors and the chairman and this, that, and everybody that wants to make money, and they're adding beet pulp and they're adding cane pulp into there, and they're adding, I don't know, what's the cheap barley, cracked pearl barley, peas and rice up in there, that becomes sugar, right? Follow me now. This is a carnivore. So we're going to feed you a bowl of cornflakes, right? This animal's now eating that. What do you think's happening to the pH on his skin? He wasn't made to be eating sugar. Now that sugar's starting to change that pH on the skin, making it acidic.
And inside the body.
Yeah, now it makes it acidic. And when it becomes acidic, what happens? Fungi starts to thrive. Mites start to thrive. You got a whole bacteria, opportunistic bacteria. Everything starts going haywire on your dog's skin. So then you come up.
It sounds obvious right now, but just so people know, tell them why your body needs to have the pH level that it does, because that's what keeps from these things happening. So when you play with a dog's pH levels, you're bringing in all these options for bad things to come in.
That's exactly That's exactly it, Mike. I don't have to say it. You said it.
Yeah.
When you're starting to feed this stuff to the dog, now the dog is going to show it through its fur and skin. Now you got a dog scratching, it's breaking skin, and you're going to come running with chlorhexidine and pour it on the dog? No, that's not what I said on my videos. I said chlorhexidine bath is the last step. First step is going to be half water, half white vinegar or apple cider vinegar. Why? Because that's going to reset the pH on the skin, and it's going to go from acidic to neutral again, or as close to neutral as possible. Becoming less acidic is a lot of times more than enough to neutralize the fungi, opportunistic bacteria, and a lot of the things that are going on. So that's my first suggestion. Okay, you need to follow the steps. I'm not going to go through all of them. We have videos on that. All you got to do is go to our homepage, go to our Fight Against Yeast playlist. All the videos are there. It's going to show you all the concoctions we put together in order to fight this the right way. Okay, finally caught alive, says Anna Banana. I love the name, Anna. Thank you for joining us. Adam Fields says it's a 2. That's what Adam Fields is saying. Feather American Good Eagle is saying it's a 3. We got Jenna saying 1, 2, 3. So Jenna doesn't want to be wrong, right? And we're coming back to Anna Banana, wondering how to stop my XL Pity from licking her lips, mouth area. I do think she is struggling with yeast, no corn smell, but red underbelly and pits. Yeah, a lot of times, believe it or not, yes, you can be.
Also,
yep.
I noticed dogs lick around their mouth a lot. And they have allergies.
This is true.
Lick the nose a lot. Maybe the nose is running a little bit. You don't ever see it because they're licking it so often. Or they can be itching or any of that. Allergies can cause that as well.
This is true. And we're going to get a little bit more into that, Anna Banana. I can't just stop everything and answer you exclusively, but just listen to everything we're saying. I also do recommend to watch our anti-yeast. You stop it in 21 days playlist. In fact, while I keep saying that, why not bring it up and show it to you guys? This way, you're completely well aware as to where to go and what to look for. Because it's really simple. All you got to do is go to QBN Kennel, and I'm doing this as we speak. And then once you click on there, there you go. That's our homepage. So let me show you.
We can't see it. We can't see it if you're trying to show it.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it right up to you guys. I'm going to bring it right up to you guys so you can see it right now. In 3, 2, 1, boom, there it is. Can you see it?
It's loading. There we go.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, when you type, youtube.com/QBN Kennel, you're going to come to my homepage. This is it right here. And this is us right now talking live over here. Look at that. Let me wave and say what's up. Anyways, if you scroll here, this is an entire playlist. It's called Dog Yeast Infection Home Remedy, the complete 21-day system. Look, it starts with this video. This is why I just made the goo from the Q video. Then it takes you to here, giving you an explanation as to where does yeast actually begin. It doesn't start in the skin. Then I show you the different concoctions we put together at different levels in order to fight yeast on the paw. Then I'm going to show you exactly what to go buy at the grocery store and what to feed your dog, right? And then I'm also going to show you how I bathe my dogs, right, that have yeast. And then I'm going to show you once we got yeast under control, we're going to go into a simple maintenance recipe, right? But it doesn't stop there. Right? Because over here, right, we start explaining why it is that your dog has yeast and what you stop doing, because there's people that have yeast that comes back. And then we also show you different natural baths, including a lemon bath, Mike, right, for allergies. So Anna Banana, this video right here, dog scratching won't stop. Try this before medication. Is probably something you want to watch, but you don't want to miss the other videos, because if your dog doesn't have an allergy and they have yeast, then you might not have a full solution. Then we give you more cheap homemade dog recipes that keep your dog from having yeast. If you smell Frito smell on your dog's feet, this is how we're going to fix it. And last and certainly not least, if your vet is giving your dog Apoquil, pushing you towards Apoquil every month, it's $100 a month. I have a $30 solution. It's all there. All you got to do is go to our playlist, click it, and watch it. It's really that simple. And for those of you that have watched it, and for those of you that are trying it, you're seeing the comments. Oh my God, this thing is working. Oh, my vet, for years, it was thousands of dollars. All of a sudden, this is working out. I'm not saying that it's going to work out for all dogs, but what I am saying is it's worked out for 99.9% of my dogs here for the last 10 years. Why wouldn't it work for you? That's what I'm saying. Guys, only put the number or it won't record the poll. All right, let me go back to the poll here real quick. There you go, Kyle. So we got the majority of you saying number 3, okay? Which of these fur problems can the goo help the most? You're saying 3, and then followed by 1, okay? But not many of you are saying 2. So that's interesting. We're going to get into that. But we have one more poll. Take the poll down for me, Kyle. We got one more poll I need you guys to do. Okay, there you go. And that poll is, because I got a lot of you asking me, hey, Raul, so how do you store it, right? So again, we're gonna put up the poll. Kyle, go ahead, there you go. Do me a favor, you're watching on YouTube or watching on Facebook, put a 1, a 2, or a 3. Okay, if you catch us on the replay, it doesn't matter. Put a 1 or 2 or 3. I still look at the numbers. All right. So 1 is you keep it refrigerated in the fridge, regular fridge. 2 is you put the goo from the queue in the freezer. And 3 is goo from the queue doesn't need to be stored anywhere. It could be out in just regular room temperature. So give me your votes. I definitely want to know. We're going to come back. I'm going to give you the results on each one of these polls. I'm going to tell you what Money Mike thinks. I'm going to tell you what I think. All right. Nothing but love, man. So keep voting. Keep voting. All right. Let's see. My dog hates the smell of vinegar because her nose can smell it a mile away. That's my problem. Okay. Listen, you don't have to pour the vinegar on her head unless her head obviously is having a main issue. I wouldn't recommend it. Right?
Are they talking about for drinking it, or are they talking about for
he's talking about bathing the dog. A lot of dogs smell the vinegar and then, give you a hard time.
Don't put it in the bath till after you get the dog in there.
Well, the other thing they can do, first, you need to rinse your dog with your hose. Then get yourself one of them big yellow sponges. I bought one at the dollar store for $2. Get one of those, and you're going to put that in the vinegar and water and put that on her. Maybe that just may be a little bit different because you're putting it in increments. You're not necessarily just pouring the whole thing on her. I'm just saying. Okay. Adam Fields is talking about thymol, which is an antifungal, which normally is found in oregano, but I'm not sure what he was talking about. Anna Banana, I'm in the process of switching her from kibble to home cook. That's a good first step. She is too picky an eater for raw. Her mouth looks so yucky and raw, and she licks her mouth constantly. Okay, we have plenty of cooked recipes. Definitely check them out. They should be able to help you. Transporting King, I've been making my own dog food in the crock pot for the last couple of weeks, and I've noticed a change. Well, of course you are. Your dog's getting better protein, better of whatever it is that you're feeding. There's nothing in that bag that's going to be anything better than what you're giving. Anna Banana tried muzzling her and applying ointment, but nothing stops the licking. Yeah, because Anna Banana, the licking is the symptom, right? You keep thinking, a lot of people think, okay, well, if she's licking, we put something on there and it goes away. Well, yay and nay, right? You can put something on there. You can put some goo on there, okay? And even if she licks, there's still microscopically some goo on there that's going to help because it's antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. But we're treating the symptom. What's causing the problem is you already hit it on the head.
Is that on YouTube, Mike? You seeing that? Is he frozen?
Yeah, he's frozen on my screen. I don't know if I am or not.
Sorry, guys. Just give us a minute. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll come back in another one.
Yeah.
What was he talking about?
He's talking about the licking right here. Applying the ointment, you got to look for the core reason that the problem is happening, and not just relieving the symptoms, is what he was getting at.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's it. I think sometimes it's internal, depending on the situation. Could be an issue with the gut. Could be an issue with the pH levels in the skin. It could be allergies. Part of what we teach here, y'all, is to try to, reverse engineer the issue and get, start checking boxes, start checking off what it could be. Make sure you try to narrow the window of opportunity for these different pathogens and different viruses, bacteria, different things. First, reset the skin, reset the gut, narrow down what you feed your dog, try to pinpoint an allergy. And this is a little bit of a process, but if you'll dial in on those things, you can get a clear picture of exactly what to treat and what to do in the future to stay on top of that for your dog.
Yeah, you just got to do one thing at a time too. Kind of like Raul said, if you're having allergy problems with food, eliminate everything and just start, let's say, just start with the chicken for a week and see what happens.
That's right.
That goes
Can you go
away,
through the comments, Kyle?
Yeah.
Let's see if we got some other comments here. We'll take a
Raul's
look at.
coming back. He said something kicked him out for some reason. Where was he at? Try muzzling. Oh, I see where he was at. The goo on the mouth.
Yeah, the goo on the mouth. You can put the goo on anything. Let's see. Sounds like her dog has thrush.
Sounds like her dog has thrush.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I don't know what happened. I got kicked out in the middle of my spiel.
Well, we've gone through a couple comments. I told him while you were gone there about the licking that, just good to get to the core of the problem, that not just the symptom. The symptoms can help tell you what's going on and what to start checking and start checking those boxes and dig down to the root core of the problem and start isolating things and try to figure out, and the way you said to do it is great, man. Reset the skin, reset the gut, start with some consistent, better habits, better caloric intake, better diet for the dogs. You start closing these opportunities for bad things to come in and dialing in your dog's specific needs.
This is absolutely right. I have a question here from Aaron Leituala 8411. Love your videos, man. Thank you. Quick question regarding maintenance feeding video you posted with the turkey. Is that one meal a day? Do you recommend pit bulls to eat once a day? I get this asked over and over again. I don't understand the whole commotion behind it. And I don't mean to pick on you, Aaron. I'm just saying because I do get asked this minimum 10 times a week. Guys, I feed my dogs based on their weight. Last week, if you didn't watch last week's live, I recommend you check it out. We feed 3% for maintenance, 2% for I'm talking about the dog's body weight. So if you have a 100-pound dog, we're going to feed 3% to keep maintenance. That's whether I'm feeding raw or cooked. Okay, 3% of 100 is 3 pounds, right? So if I want the dog to lose weight, I'm going to feed 2 pounds or 2%. And if I want the dog to gain weight, I'm going to feed 4 pounds in order to gain weight. Now, the dogs that I feed more than once a day. So once a day, I feed my adult dogs and young puppies, or not young puppies, actually older puppies that are about to become adults. Adults, 12 months, right, in my eyes. So if I have a 10-and-a-half-month-old dog, I'll feed you once a day. That's fine. You don't need more than that. Okay. In fact, I found that when you're only feeding once a day, right, at 10 months plus, you have less orthopedic issues with your dogs than if you start overfeeding to try to gain that pop and that muscularity and that weight. Okay.
We've told people for years that that's genetic. These
Yeah.
dogs, they get that stuff genetically, and feeding them twice as much as what you should is not going to make them bigger. It's going to add to your problems.
That you're absolutely right. And so for me, based on that, it doesn't matter how many times you're going to feed your dog in a day. I'm talking about outside of once a day, except if your dog is pregnant. If you have a puppy that's under 10 months old, yes, you want to feed them more than once a day. You have a pregnant female, you're not going to feed her once a day. You got to feed her 2 times a day. You have an entire new litter of puppies running around. You're going to feed them 3, 4, maybe even 5 times a day, right? But when I say, right, that we're going to feed them that, you're not going to feed 3% of the body weight every time you're going to feed the dog. That's just
for 24 hours.
Right. That's just ridiculous. You're going to grab that 3% rule and you're going to break it down. The only time that rule goes out the window is when you're feeding puppies. You will feed them a little bit more. And moms, right, that are pregnant, I feed them up to 20% of what the normal feed is. But I do add things to that feed, such as, for example, kefir, right? I will add eggs. I will add sardines, to whatever I'm already feeding. These are just added things that I will bring in.
I found it to be amazing that before we get off of that real quick, that the mother's instincts are so strong. They'll, if you let them, they'll about walk you through it, because they know what they need, and they'll tell you they need more water, more food, whatever. And I try to listen to my dogs when I'm working with a pregnant mother, or she's just now whelping puppies. If I feed her and she knocks that food out in 45 seconds and looks up at me, I'm going to get some more food. If she takes 10 minutes picking at it and doesn't finish it, I may set it aside, let her come back to it later and get her some water. You just got to pay attention to what's going on with your dog, guys, especially when they're fresh having babies like that or getting close. The proportions are not going to be something you can hang off of in a dog that's given birth tomorrow or the next day or just gave birth a week ago. You just kind of got to pay attention.
You're absolutely right, man. Now, Feather American Good Eagle saying, sounds like her dog has thrush. Okay, say the dog had thrush. Do you not think that, the goo with all its antifungal properties is going to help? Sure, it's going to help, right? It's not going to cure it, because what's feeding the thrush, which, by the way, it's another fungi, right? What's feeding thrush is 2 things. It could be anti-immune, so it could be your immune system is down, which this is going to help either way, or you're feeding the yeast from the inside, which this is going to help on the outside, but you got to change what you're feeding from the inside. Otherwise, if you don't change what you're feeding from the inside, it's gonna keep.
Went into that while you were glitched out there. I had said, one of the things you got to do is fix what's going on in the gut. Yeah. To that same question, me and Kyle had went through a couple of them.
Scott Leber saying that the turkey recipe he has, I noticed the redness in the paws is going away. Well, I tell you, in that recipe, and I'm not being arrogant in any way, but I'm only sharing with you guys what I saw, and that is that by week 1. Probably around week 1 to 10 days, you're going to start noticing redness is going to start coming down a little bit. Okay, you're going to notice a little bit of less licking. By the time you hit 3 weeks, even that corn chip smell is going to go away. Usually that's the last one. But just throwing that out there, man. Scott Leber says, you're half and half water and vinegar. I rinse her paws because what the landscaper spray. Good decision to do that. It's hers linking to issue with the dog's liver and gets rid of the pollen also. I'm not sure if I read that correct. I don't know if you're talking about what they spray. What they spray, that has to be. What they spray is linking to the dog's issue. Yeah, in the dog's liver. Yeah, absolutely, man. Not only that, what they spray, because it's affecting the liver, is going to affect your dog's immune system. And if it does that, now you have a dog running around with yeast because its immune system just can't fight anything because it was stepping on chemicals. I have a dog built like a tank, and her energy is like a Ferrari. I love all you stated. All right, man. Good stuff. Cat Perez. I recently purchased NuVet Plus for my bully, but he can't take them because he's allergic to brewer's yeast. Okay, so Cat, let me just say this. Okay, I don't know your dog. You might have done an allergy panel at the vet, and brewer's yeast is one of those things your dog's allergic to, and I respect that. But if you're basing yourself off of brewer's yeast off of a kibble bag, I strongly recommend that you go ahead and try out NuVet. If it turns out that your dog is allergic, then by all means, you need to stop it. And the only reason I say that is because NuVet, by the way, for those of you that don't know, NuVet is the only supplement that we use here. The green bottle is NuVet. A NuJoint DS is the blue bottle. And what ends up happening is they were formulated by vets, doctors, and scientists. So the amount of brewer's yeast your dog will be getting out of NuVet may not be enough to trigger something. All I'm saying is in kibble, brewer's yeast is processed completely different than here. Here, it is completely cold pressed. It is not cooked. Okay, so I'm just throwing that out there. If you don't feel comfortable with it, by all means, just contact NuVet and reverse the order. What other vitamins? I don't recommend other vitamins. In fact, I had a dog that we thought at the time, you got to realize this is 10 years back. I was new to this. We thought the dog was allergic to chicken. So, we were like, oh, I don't know if I want to give my dog NuVet because, the dog's allergic to chicken. No, the dog wasn't allergic to chicken. It was allergic to the way chicken was processed in kibble. I have a lot of people saying my dog is allergic to chicken. Why? Because when I buy a bag of kibble and it says chicken on it, my dog's allergic to it. That's not how you verify that. You go buy yourself some raw chicken and you give it to your dog with just water. If in 3 days the dog gets worse, you probably have a chicken allergy. But even then, if you take the skin off and you go another 3 days and you see improvement, then you know what your dog is really allergic to. It's the chicken skin and not necessarily the chicken. So I just wanted to compart that with you. Aaron Laluda, thank you for answering my question, sir. I've recently just inherited a 100-pound bully, and your videos are a big help to understand what my boy needs to be happy and healthier. You got it, man. Yeah.
Hey, where are we at on the poll, Raul? Do we have
yeah, let's bring up the polls, man, because look at that. We got, let me bring up the picture of the polls. That would definitely help things out here.
78% says one.
Yeah, this one right here. Oh, wrong poll. My bad. Let me go ahead. The thing is, it kicked me out, guys. I apologize. And when it did that, it kicked out all of my screens. So I'm having. Yeah, that's not it either. Let me just.
No, it was the other one.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it was the first one you put up there.
Oh, okay. Look at that. So I was over here thinking it was wrong.
No, you're right. You're right. It was the refrigerator.
All right, so let's do this. Let's go over the polls, man, because Money Mike over here is confusing me. Kyle,
the refrigerator, counter, and the freezer. It was.
Well, let's go back to poll number one. Kyle, put up poll number one. So on poll number one, there you go. Poll number one, we ask you which paw needs the goo. Okay, no, take down that poll. There we go. Which paw needs the goo? We got 63% of you said paw number 3. Now let's take a look at paw number 3. Right?
It's pretty inflamed.
Yeah, it's definitely inflamed. We also see the saliva fur staining. That's that brown staining you're seeing in between as well. You're also seeing the saliva staining on number 2, but it's not. It's definitely not inflamed. And on number 1, you're not seeing either inflammation or the staining. So, Money Mike, which one would you put the goo on?
I'd say you could put it on 2 and 3.
Okay. And I have to agree with you 100%. Because if you're seeing your dog's paws looking like number 2, it's just a matter of time before you get to number 3.
Yeah. Number 2 turns into number 3.
Yeah. Don't wait till you get to number 3 to say, oh, now I need something. No. This whole thing starts progressing from 1, which is fine, to 2, we have a problem, 3, now it's full blown, severity.
Even though it seems obvious,
yes,
you could have little to no problem on the underside of the paw, like it is in this picture, and you could have most of the problem between the fingers, between the toes on the paw, and it could be more on top than underneath. But just because it's one way or the other doesn't mean your process would be any different. You would still apply the goo between the fingers the same way.
I'll be honest with you, Mike. And this is for those of you that said from the beginning, oh, it seems like my dog during summertime, they get this all the time. Okay, so if you notice that when you enter summertime, this stuff happens, then in that scenario, I would give it to all 3 during the summertime. Like,
because it's a preventative measure for that season, right?
Yeah. Why wait for number 1 to turn number 2 before you start anything? I just do it.
I agree. If every summer this is happening, as soon as it starts warming up, go ahead and start making it a part of the regimen. Yep.
Yeah. The other thing I was asked, which I don't understand, it's in the video, but I'll clarify it. Do you put it on the ear? And my answer is yes, but not in the inner ear. You're going to put it on the outer flap. That's all. Okay. And that's just to keep all the bad gunkiness out. And that's
down
just
deep inside the ear.
No, not down deep inside the ear. The other thing that I get asked a lot is, does the goo stain? Because it has turmeric. It definitely does have turmeric in it, right? And my answer is it can. It can. So there's 2 ways around it. Let me bring up the picture of the goo so we could see what we're talking about here. If you're looking at the tablespoon of powdered turmeric, that's usually the staining agent, if you will. Now, there's 2 ways around it. You could put goo either on the ears, on the dog paws, or wherever you have a hot spot. We're going to get into that poll here in a minute. Leave it on for a good 2 or 3 minutes where you have the dog isolated, whether in a crate or somewhere, and then go ahead and clean it off. Usually when you wipe it off with a paper towel or even a towel, usually it's still, you're not going to wipe the whole thing off because there's still remnants in there that are going to work in your favor, but the dog isn't going to stain, okay? But if you still don't feel comfortable with that, it's really easy. Remove the powdered turmeric out of the concoction. And that way, all you have is coconut oil, garlic, cinnamon, right? Take out the black pepper while you're at it because the pepper's only there.
The ginger.
I'm sorry, the ginger. Yeah, but I'm talking about the cracked pepper. It's only there for the turmeric. So if you're taking the turmeric out, there's no need to have black pepper in there. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then this way you can nullify whatever type of staining. Okay. I'm just adding it because turmeric is just a powerful antifungal, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antiviral. So we're hitting this from so many different directions. And you have to when you're using natural ingredients. Here's the other thing I'm going to tell you about natural ingredients. Natural ingredient solutions are effective. They can be very effective, but here's what I've learned as well. They're mostly effective when they're being used as a prophylactic. And that's just a fancy medical term for in order not to allow it to ever get out of hand. So you're using it before there's even a problem. So when I said use it on number 1, you're using it as a prophylactic because number 1 doesn't have anything going on with it, but you're putting it on there so you can prevent number 2 from ever happening, right? And if you prevent number 2 from ever happening, you don't even have to worry about number 3, right? So that's the difference. That's the difference also between vets and, say, a breeder like myself, right? I'm showing you things that I use naturally that are preventative, right? And that I'm on top of. You must be on top of it in order for it to work. Whereas maybe a vet, it's not in their best interest to show you how to stop it from getting to a number 3 because once you show up with a number 3, guess what? That's
Money in the bank.
That's money in the bank, right? Let's go to poll number 2. Kyle, bring up the results on poll number 2. Poll number 2. That's poll number 1. Hold on a second, man. There you go. Poll number 2. All right. Which one can goo from the queue help? So we have number 1, which is a legitimate hotspot. You usually get that when a dog is either, you'll see your dog either licking, scratching, or a combination thereof. Number 2, you're seeing that dry patch of, or better yet, lack of hair, right? And you're seeing these little black things, which, by the way, those are flea droppings, okay? And then lastly, you got number 3, which I would dare say is one of the more typical yeast or even allergy scenarios. I will tell you, yeast and allergies, a lot of times they look very, very similar, and they're really hard to tell apart.
Yeah, until they get more extreme into their worst stages, it's a little hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah, usually the way I tell them apart is, for example, on a number 3, I'm going to go ahead and add goo. If on the next morning it's a lot worse rather than improving even a little bit, then that probably tells me it's more of an allergy than it would be just something, like a yeast infection going on. Now, Mike, on these, which one would you be using the goo on?
Well, if number 3 is an allergy, then I'd be least likely and something to add to what you said there, like what I've noticed with my dogs is if I'm keeping an eye on it regularly, I can kind of tell if it's leaning towards a yeasty issue by the color and the gradual progression of it and the smell and things like that. If it's an allergy issue, it's more than likely going to show a little more inflammation a little faster. It'll be a little redder. It'll be a little more inflamed, and not so. There's a difference in red and that brown, yellow, yeasty color that starts to get added to that area, and I can usually identify it pretty early on. They look just a little different. In this picture, it'd be similar. It's hard to tell there, but on my dogs, I've learned to know between time of year and just early telltale signs. But definitely 1 and 2. And possibly even 3.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you where I would use it on. I would use it on all 3. Okay, on number 1, it's your typical hotspot. We're going to put it on there. We're going to try to keep bacteria on check. We're going to try and keep the fungi in check. We're going to be hitting it there. Number 2, I'm actually going to be probably putting the goo all over my dog, and that's because the goo has coconut oil. I don't know if you knew this, but coconut oil will suffocate fleas.
That's right.
So I will definitely want to put that on there. And definitely, I would probably want to bathe my dogs first. In particular, I want these eggs to get out, right? I don't want those, eggs are going to be little white specks that you're probably not even able to see because they're really tiny. Right? But I want to clear that area. I want to get the poop out. I want to get the eggs out because coconut oil is not going to kill the eggs, but it is going to suffocate the adults. So I would probably go half and half, water and vinegar. We're gonna first rinse the dog, then we're gonna pour the water and vinegar on there. We're gonna scrub that area real good. We're probably gonna rinse them and do water and vinegar one more time. Let the dog air dry, get that pH back up. Once he's nice and dry, we're gonna hit him with the goo, la-di-da-di everywhere, right? Because I just want to suffocate adult fleas at that point. Well, number 3, I'm not going to sit there and guess if it's an allergy or if it's yeast, right? Because my answer is going to come from what I'm going to put on it. So I'm going to go ahead and put goo from the queue on there. And on the following day, if there's an improvement, now I have more of a tendency to believe that it's going to be more yeast. Whereas if I don't get an improvement, nothing happened, then I'm probably going to have more of a tendency thinking that it can still be an allergy. But even if it is an allergy, I'm going to add goo from the queue because the allergy is going to itch. The dog is going to scratch. When they break skin, opportunistic bacteria and fungi are going to get in there. And that's precisely what each one of these ingredients is fighting for you. So whether it is allergy or whether it is yeast, doesn't matter. I'm still going to hit you with it.
As long as it's not making it too much worse.
Right. Now, if I put this on a dog and the following day it's a lot worse, then I'm going to stop it altogether because they could be allergic to any one of these ingredients, right? But as long as it's not becoming worse, or I'm suspecting it's becoming worse because of the goo, I'm going to go ahead and put it on there. Let me see. Poll number 3, Kyle. Let's bring it up. Poll number 3. I keep bringing up the wrong picture. Sorry. There we go. So poll number 3, how should the goo be stored? Right? 78% are saying in the fridge.
Wow.
Nobody said the freezer. And 3% say keep it out in room temperature. Well, somebody was saying there that during the summertime specifically, that oil is going to melt, and you're absolutely right. So yes, just go ahead and store it in the fridge. How long can I store it in the fridge, Raul, before it goes bad? Well, use your senses. And here's the truth. Whenever I make goo from the queue, it's gone within a day or two, maybe 3 at most. So I can't sit here and tell you, well, at day 5, no, you open it up and you smell it. Okay. Smell it. If it doesn't smell like day 1 by day 5, get rid of it, man. It costs nothing to make.
If you're using this stuff, you're not going to have it go bad before you run out of it. And if your house is nice and cool inside, it'll be good on the counter. Like it might be melted, might be a little softer to use, but it would stay good on the counter even for a while. All those items are not something that perish very quickly.
Very quickly. No, not at all. And what Mike said is so true. If you're using this consistently, if I had one dog and it was summertime, and every summertime her paws would, start getting a little red or whatever, then I would hit her in the morning with the goo from the queue, and I hit her again before she goes to bed. That's what I would do. Okay. And I hate to say this because people want an easy answer. Just give your dog a teaspoon of this and it's going to work. No, that's what a lot of creators online want you to believe, so you could click and, they give you whatever BS is out there. But real life, if you want to go the natural route, you're going to have less effects, right, from it. But at the same time, you got to work more, right? Maybe even twice as much, because you got to be on top of it on a daily basis. That's just facts. All right. So definitely store it in the fridge. That's it. You can't go wrong with storing it in the fridge. Mike is right. You can leave it out in room air for a day. It's not going to go bad. But if you really want to be prophylactic and safe and all that, just go with putting it in the fridge and you're going to be fine. Okay. It's really that simple. Let me see here. So real quick, we got Scott saying the last time I took my Brandy to a vet, they told me everything about coconut oil is a myth. Hey, what do you know? No, it doesn't suffocate fleas. No, it feeds them. That's what they want you to believe, but no. After that, I never went back. Good for you, and became a member to your page. There you go. We all know the truth about coconut oil. Come on, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, Transportation King, seems like my dog's skin is healthier in the wintertime. Even her coat looks better. And this is because dogs have different coats, right? During the wintertime, it's going to be more dense, right? And during the summertime, you're going to notice maybe around spring that they're going to start shedding quite a bit. And that's because the density of the fur is about to go down, as well as should be, because it's about to get warmer. It's throughout the humidity and heat can really affect them. This is true. Kirk's Castile soap is coconut oil soap and can be liquid soap. We use it on horses. Horses get mites in their manes. It is true about coconut suffocating external parasites. Yeah, it does. In fact, let me tell you guys a quick story. Whenever I take my dogs to the vet, now recently I've had to stop, and it's just a silly reason why, but I'll tell you. Whenever I take my dogs to the vet, usually when I get there, the main thing is what preventative do you have your dogs on? Because we're on a flea-free environment. You know what that means, right? That's really big pharma saying we're about to put this frontline chemical on your dog's back because that's how we make our money. So my response is always yes, they are on anti-flea and anti-flea treatment, flea and tick treatment, which they are. I give my dogs garlic. And then when I tell them garlic, oh my God, you give your dog garlic. Don't you know it's toxic? And is at that point where I take them to school. Because you see, that's their knee-jerk reaction, their knee-jerk sales reaction. A lot of vets, like it or not, they're running a business. So they're going to give you the immediate response that a lot of people are finding.
They do the same thing about raw and even cooked food.
Yeah, and then when they realize that you're just not run-of-the-mill Bob over here that looks at the first thing that Google says and runs with it, then it becomes an eye-opener. And my response is always, where in your Merck manual does it say that exclusively that garlic is only toxic to dogs? And the minute you say that, oh, well, yeah, they start backtracking because they already know where you're going with this. And the truth is, yes, giving too much is toxic, but if you're giving the right amounts, it's not toxic. It's like anything else. It's like anything else. You can go to Goo from the Q over here, and if you were to say, I don't know, cinnamon, right? Cinnamon, it says 1 teaspoon there, okay? In the Merck manual, I'm pretty sure it's going to say that cinnamon is not bad for dogs. Now, you go in there and you give your dog 3 cups worth of cinnamon, you're going to kill them. Okay, that's just the bottom line. And if you can't see through an industry that wants to manipulate you in order to make money off of you, there's nothing in the world I could tell you that's going to change your mind. Right? Just keeping it real with you. Aaron Tuala, in your dog tartar removal video, does cooking the chicken leg quarter remove the HMP in the chicken bone, or does it need to be fed raw? Okay, Aaron Tuala, I don't know if it removes it or not, but the HMP is the reason I give chicken bone is not because there's HMP in it. The reason I give the chicken bone, and it must be raw and never cooked, is because the chicken bone is soft enough a bone where the dogs could chew it and not break the teeth, but at the same time, it could scratch the tooth enough where it doesn't damage it, but it gets rid of the gunk, right? That then leads to tartar, if it makes any sense. So, but you never feed cooked chicken bones to a dog because cooked bones splinter, and you're going to end up with a pretty expensive emergency visit. But we give our dogs raw chicken bones, and when they break clean. There's no splinter. So that's the reasoning behind it. Scott Lever, do not cook any bones for your dogs. There you go. It will turn to glass. Give them the bones raw like a wolf. There you go, man. Couldn't have said it better. Louis DeMille, what is going on, Big Lulu? Good evening, fam. It's been a long time. Been real busy over here. Good to see you, Raul. Good to see you, Lou. I'm glad, man. I'm glad you came around. Feather American, Good Eagle. I took my equine vet to school and later got a letter stating he would not be treating my equine in the future. And this is so true. It is unfortunate when you grab these vets with their hands in the cookie jar. And I'm going to give you a quick story here in a second before we head on out. Immediately they realize that you are now a liability to them. And when that happens, the fit hits the fan. So real quick, I was going to do a breeding. Somebody sent some sperm, and we were going to do what is called an AI, which is an artificial insemination. I'm sorry, a TCI, which is a transcervical insemination, which with an instrument, they bypass the cervix and shoot the sperm in. It turns out that the sperm motility was not where we wanted it to be. Okay, you need sperm motility. Usually you want it above 70 to have the highest success of a pregnancy. This one didn't even make it past 50, which was useless at this point. However, this vet decided she was going to go ahead and shoot the sperm in anyways, and then tell me the sperm was no good. And that's where she got really called out, and she really didn't like it. And my response was, if the sperm was not good enough, why didn't you come to me before you did the procedure? I have another dog in my car. I could have literally just gone and gotten the car and it would have been done. So when I told her that, and she realized how stupid of a mistake she made and that I called her out on it, now, when I went to the vet here recently, I was told by staff that she will no longer see my dogs. At which case I told staff I was very relieved, because if she's capable of making a stupid mistake like that, God knows going forward what else she can make, right? So unfortunately, that's the way it goes. Thank you all. Laugh out loud, Feather. We got thumbs up. Scott, what about food grade diatomaceous earth for fleas and ticks? You have to let the garlic air out and make sure that. Listen, Scott, I have plenty of videos where I've talked about diatomaceous earth. Look up my $23 fix versus Vet's $300 fix. You're going to see me talk about diatomaceous earth there. It's definitely great. You just got to make sure you get food grade. Also, make sure when you're putting it on your dog, doesn't get in the eyes, doesn't get in the nose. They don't breathe it in. It's caustic and it's going to hurt. Okay. And this is coming from somebody who knew it. And even then, I found out the hard way. I actually aspirated some and it hurt. So from that point on, I made sure I was out either on my goat ramp or one of our dog mounds that we have. That's where I put it on my dogs so they get plenty of wind and it's not something that's going to hurt them. Raw, and she is so happy. Okay, man. Okay, I'm going to upgrade my membership to max next month because I love your channel that much. Nothing but love, man. Hey, real quick before we get out of here, let me bring in my dude from the back, Mr. Holly Whizzle. What's going on, Hollywood?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Hollywood. What do you think about what we spoke about today, man?
Good topic, man. Everybody make y'all's goose. Start putting it on. Let's see. Let's get some comments and reactions.
All right, man. Well,
Actually, you know, it'd be good some before and after. You know, it'd be good some before and after photos. That would be good.
Well, you know, that's why I bring you in, Kyle. Because I didn't even think about saying that, man. But you did. So, start us up, man.
It's your boy Hollywood Holland, your boy in the back of the queue. We're catching you on the next one. Boom!
There you go. Money Mizite.
Money Mike, man, your co-host with the most. I really enjoyed it tonight, man. This is a topic I think people need to learn all this stuff about, man. It's very valuable to pet owners and to people with programs. So we'll be catching y'all on the next one.
There you go. Hey, we do this every Sunday at 8 p.c.s.t. Amanda Lay Tuala 7714. If you love the channel, you love the content, all you got to do is become a member for as little as $5 a month. And we could do this every single Sunday at 8 p.c.s.t. We're going to be talking about the videos we drop and about any questions you may have. You know, whether your name is Scott Leber over here, he kind of took over the show today, or Hugo Rosado, always keeping it real. I just want to let you guys know it's been Raul from the Q, and I'll be catching you on the next one.
We are going for a whole hour, straight dog talk, and the song. Jump on in and speculate. Show up on time, don't be weak and late. We are community, so don't hate.